And just moments ago, President Trump posted, quote, "We now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran," adding, "American-made military components were able to beat Iran's defensive systems." NBC News chief international correspondent Richard Engel joins us now from Israel. Richard, a couple questions for you. One, I was listening to Netanyahu on one of the Sunday shows when he was asked directly about, are you targeting Iran's supreme leader? This is someone who's been in power for, 46 years, this regime, this government system. Explain to us sort of what Netanyahu says that his goals are, but also, Richard, given how long you have covered this region, why is this time different?
So a lot to unpack there, but let's just start what Netanyahu and his government are saying about regime change and about the supreme leader. Since the Iranian Revolution in 1979, there have only been two supreme leaders, the founder, Ayatollah Khomeini, and then his successor, Ayatollah Khamenei. And they run the country. They run the theocracy that has been in charge for the last almost 50 years. And initially, NBC News confirmed initial reports that President Trump nixed an Israeli proposal, an Israeli plan to not only target the Iranian regime or target nuclear sites, but also to assassinate the supreme leader, who's 86 years old and already facing a succession crisis. President Trump didn't agree to that. Prime Minister Netanyahu, in an interview, wouldn't rule it out. And earlier today, the defense minister here, who's also obviously one of the key decision makers, spoke to a small group of reporters, and he said that the goal in Iran, that Israel's goal is not explicitly regime change, that they are looking for a scenario that's more akin to Lebanon. And right now in Lebanon, the Israelis are hitting at will. When they see a target that they think is threatening to Israel, they will strike. And that seems to be the kind of operations that they want to have in Iran, which is effectively regime change because it means that you can target wherever you want, whenever you want.
What does that say, though, given the nuance that you just laid out for us? What does that tell us about what all of this means now for U.S. involvement?
So it is very interesting, as you pointed out, that President Trump said we now have control over the skies of Tehran. That is not the way that President Trump had been describing it before, not the way his administration had framed it. They said that the U.S. was only involved in helping Israel defend itself. But the more we learn, the more we are discovering that the U.S. is quite deeply involved. First of all, that President Trump knew ahead of time about Israeli plans, that he vetoed that strike on the Iranian supreme leader. Courtney Kube at the Pentagon yesterday talked about how President Trump really just at the last minute changed his mind and came along to the Israeli position that the time was ripe for a military strike. So the U.S. is clearly involved, as you were talking about earlier. The question is, will they be more involved? Will they be involved in offensive strikes? And you asked earlier, based on many years of experience here, how does this situation look? Well, it looks a lot like 2002. It looks a lot like 2003, when you have leaders talking about regime change, when you have leaders talking about redefining the map of the Middle East based on allegations of weapons of mass destruction that are allegedly imminently about to be produced and used.
Really important historical context there. Richard Engel reporting live from Israel. Richard, thank you as always.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.